Take fluoridation, the process of adding the chemical fluoride to drinking water.
If you have access to public water supplies, you hold the power to intoxicate mass populations. You therefore hold the power to commit genocide.
It's an essential. We all need water, and to put something in our drinking water, in my opinion, is absolutely criminal.
The debate about fluoride has raged for nearly 60 years. Fluoridation has even been called a communist plot. Its role is still a hot topic.
Fluoride is not only a great rat poison, but it is toxic to human beings.
I've never seen any kind of scientific study, or know of one, that has proved the ill effects of fluoridation.
It is a drug and it is a poison.
The element fluoride is naturally present in some drinking water.
Unfortunately, that gives the notion that it's safe, which it's not.
The first artificial fluoridation occurred in 1945 in the United States.
Water is now fluoridated in the U.S. just about everywhere, and generations have grown up with it, and with much better teeth as a result.
Worldwide, there's 300 million people receiving fluoridated water for 30 or 40 years.
But for the anti-fluoride camp, it's not just about dental health. It's far more sinister.
It's a scam. It's a way of getting rid of a noxious product through the human kidney and get very well paid for it.
The conspiracy theory is that fluoride is a waste product which is put into water, solving a disposal problem for big business.
It's a waste product of the fertilizer industry, it's a waste product of brick making, and it's also a waste product of aluminium smelting.
The story goes, industries can sell fluoride to the water companies instead of paying for it to be disposed of.
The idea this is an ingenious scheme for dumping waste is another one of these fantasies, I'm afraid.
But what about the argument that fluoride improves dental health? There's substantial evidence that this is true, but some dentists argue we're getting too much fluoride.
I cannot understand why they should want extra fluoride in water when we know there's an awful lot of fluoride in toothpaste and people are probably getting poisoned by their toothpaste.
Perhaps arguments about fluoridation mask deeper fears.
We should not be allowing the government to dictate what should be injected into our bodies or placed in our water supplies.
If they are prepared to do this, and really unscrupulous government could be prepared to put some other kind of mind-altering drug into the water, why don't we put Prozac into the water and vote for the same government year after year?
More than 1,000 scientists and medical professionals from across the world have banded together to warn us that even in its most diluted form, fluoride is still a poison and can harm your health.
This is one pollutant that we capture in the phosphate fertilizer industry, and having captured it, we can't dump it into the sea, but we put it into our own drinking water. It's extraordinary.
Fluoride in our water supply is a very real and ever-present risk to our population at large.
A radical view that's made Adelaide dentist Dr. Andrew Harms a renegade among his colleagues and the professional body he once headed in South Australia.
The ADA and other dental professional groups will not speak to anybody from the anti-fluoridation side, but I've been asked to not refer to myself as a past president of the Dental Association of South Australia. In fact, I'm no longer a member of the Dental Association over this issue.
Dr. Harms has joined the growing movement of public discontent about adding fluoride, a potent poison in its most concentrated form, to our drinking water.
The chemical fluoride itself is dangerous, but also I'm concerned about the arsenic levels and the lead levels as a result of these chemicals being dumped in the water supply.
Lead levels?
Yes, there's recent evidence from North Carolina University that the fluoridated chemicals, the group of chemicals, the FSAs, leach lead into the water supply, particularly if water's standing in old leaded pipes and around leaded brass fittings.
600 health professionals and scientists, including Dr. Arvid Carlson, a Nobel laureate of medicine, are calling on Congress to ban the use of fluoride immediately. Among the petitioners, Bob Carton, a former Environmental Protection Agency scientist. He says fluoridating water was a mistake from the beginning.
It was a foolish thing to do years ago. They didn't have enough information. They hadn't really been tested.
In fact, a 2005 Centers for Disease Control study found too much fluoride has caused irreversibly discolored teeth in 1 out of 3 children. And a major report by the National Academy of Sciences says toxic levels can lead to severe, permanent pitting of the enamel in children. Fluoride can also build up in the bones to cause pain, stiff joints, and skeletal abnormalities when they get older.
It's a cumulative poison. It just gradually builds up and it gradually causes harm.
But the EPA isn't about to make any quick decisions about the Academy's finding that toxic levels of fluoride must be drastically lowered.
We take their recommendations very seriously. We also have a commitment to get additional information and validate it and work with other public health authorities.
Last November, concerns over excess fluoride prompted the American Dental Association to warn parents not to mix baby formula with tap water during an infant's first 12 months.
For males less than 20 years old, fluoride level in drinking water during growth is associated with an increased risk of osteosarcoma. But according to Cook, Dr. Douglas dismissed any link when he presented this final report to the National Institutes of Environmental Health Sciences.
So let's make sure we're clear on this. Fluoride, it is in tea, it's in coffee, it's in water, it's in bread, it's in toothpaste, but it's actually a poison, right?
It sure is, and here's the quickest evidence. Go to your bathroom and pick up your toothpaste, and you'll see a warning that if a child swallows more than a pea-sized amount of toothpaste, call poison control.
66% of United States residents' public water is fluoridated. It is known to have tremendous effects on bone cancer, joint problems, bone weakness, lowered estrogen and testosterone levels, and dental fluorosis, which is yellowing of the teeth and pitting in the enamel. Wouldn't it make more sense to enhance public water with vitamins which are meant to be ingested to promote overall health, rather than putting such a toxic chemical in our water with a bogus explanation that it will improve our dental health? We now know that fluoride causes more dental problems than it solves. Something doesn't seem right about this. Do you honestly believe that these companies care deeply enough for the people to spend large amounts of their own money to fluoridate public water when the people already purchase their own toothpaste? But there's a difference between toothpaste and drinking water. We don't ingest toothpaste. If you go to any hardware store and look at any rat poison product, you will only find one ingredient: sodium fluoride. It is the most toxic ionic molecule outside of potassium dichromate. Now Dannon, along with other companies, have begun fluoridating bottled water. It is becoming increasingly difficult to get away from. And the fact that fluoride is also used in many prescription antidepressants shows that it eliminates aggression and motivation in people.
Fluoride, to my knowledge as a physician, has absolutely no biological benefit whatsoever.
But one of the significant things is that the Russians carried out all sorts of experiments on people living in the Gulag. One of them, of course, was to fluoridate the water. Why? You fluoridate the water, why people are not as aggressive as they ordinarily would be. In fact, what is the active ingredient in Prozac that is so widely distributed in America today? Why, it's a fluoride compound.
And now, we are finding that public water nationwide is showing up with arsenic, lead, cadmium, and thermonium, which is a radioactive form of lead. Cancer, lowered sex drive, birth defects, sedation, and brain defects. Does this not sound like a wonder drug for anyone aiming to control a population?